Did you know there was actually going to be a more traditional Pokémon game on the N64? It could have actually connected to the Game Boy too. Let's take a look. We recently were able to get our hands on the August 1997 edition of the 64 Dream magazine, an old Japanese magazine about all things Nintendo. After getting some help translating various parts to see if there was anything interesting, we spotted this tidbit in an interview about Pokémon Stadium. In the interview with three Game Freak mainstays, Satoshi Tajiri, Ken Sugimori, and Junichi Masuda, they mostly talk about how amazing it is to see the Pokémon fight in 3D and how difficult it was to get all 151 Pokémon into the game, resulting in cutbacks to 40. They also talked about the Nintendo 64 disk drive and more. However, one thing they briefly talked about was their initial prototype for a full mainline Pokémon adventure on the 3D console. They didn't get into many details, other than saying that the ambitions of the game were clearly impossible for the console, despite trying out a number of different ideas, including an N64 cart that you can plug Game Boy cartridges into, as well as link cable support. All of these ideas basically were scrapped and put into Stadium, as that had the N64 transfer pack, but one tidbit from the magazine that we had never seen before is this image of the in-progress cartridge. You can see what looks like a cartridge similar to a Wide Boy 64, but plugged into the development Game Boy game via the link cable. The image is quite small, so we tried to upscale with Gen I, but as you can see, that didn't work out too well. But even looking at the small image, there's a lot to unpack nonetheless. These days, we have full 3D console Pokémon games, and there are even more coming out every year. But back in the late 90s, I am sure the idea of a full 3D Pokémon adventure would have been mind-blowing. Have you ever seen new pieces of info from old game mags like this before? If you like this kind of content, be sure to check back daily.